The truce is over. Israel is striking Gaza again. Some 200 targets have been attacked so far, and this time there is no safe zone. Even southern Gaza is on the radar. One such attack was on Khan Yunis. It's a city in the southern part of the Gaza Strip. Thousands of Gazans were asked to take refuge in this city, but today morning it was attacked. Take a look at the aftermath. So what is Israel's mission this time? It's the tunnels again. The IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, claims to have found 800 plus shafts leading to the tunnels. Around 500 have been destroyed. And it's not just how many shafts have been found, it's about where they have been found. Israel says in schools, mosques and playgrounds. They've released footage as well. Take a look at this.
שכונת בקשי, בתוך מסגד נמצא פיר.
It's not surprising, though. The Hamas has built a vast underground network. By their own account, it's 500 kilometers long. So Israel is back to dismantling it. But what's the end game here? Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed the media this weekend. He made two important statements. One, he wants to protect civilians in Gaza. And two, he wants to eliminate Hamas. A complete victory, as he called it.
We have a desire to avoid harming the population. We have a very strong desire to hurt Hamas. In order to complete the sacred mission of returning all our hostages, to eliminate Hamas, and to ensure that Gaza does not return to pose a threat to Israel, that it does not contain an entity that educates its children for terrorism, that supports terrorism, that finances terrorism, that calls for the destruction of Israel, we continue to fight with all our might.
But here's the problem. These two goals are conflicting. Israel has not been able to protect civilians and eliminate Hamas. At last count, more than 15,000 Gazans have died. Out of them, 6,600 are children. More than 41,000 are wounded and 6,800 are missing. So Israel is at risk of failing both objectives. A, civilians are dying, and B, it's turning more and more Gazans into hardliners. Just think about it. 6,600 children are dead in Gaza. 6,600 children. That's more than 10,000 parents who had to bury their child. Will they ever agree to peace with Israel? That's the strategic downside of this invasion. French President Emmanuel Macron raised this concern. He said it could take 10 years to destroy Hamas. Listen in.
What is the total destruction of Hamas? And does anyone think it's possible? If it is, the war will last 10 years. And I don't think anyone can seriously define this objective. So this objective must be clarified.
It's a worrying assessment. And forget 10 years, every day this war drags on is a regional risk. Just look at what's happening in the Red Sea. At least 3 commercial ships have been attacked. 2 of them have been claimed by the Houthis. And we've discussed them before. The Houthis are an armed Shia group in Yemen. They're backed by Iran. They're also allied with Hamas. Last month, the Houthis declared war on Israel. And now they're attacking ships. Here's what we know so far. The first attack was on Unity carrier. It's a Bahamas-flagged ship. It was struck by a Houthi ballistic missile. 2 Panama-flagged ships were also targeted, Number 9 and Sophie 2. They sustained damages, but no casualties. Now, when ships are attacked, they send distress signals, sort of like a call for help, SOS. In this case, the response came from an American warship, USS Carney. It shot down 3 Houthi drones. But chances are this face-off is not over because the Houthis have promised more attacks until the war ends.
The Yemeni armed forces renew their warning to all Israeli ships or those affiliated with Israelis that they will become legitimate targets if they violate the content of this statement and previous statements issued by the Yemeni armed forces.
2 issues here. One is obviously the impact on trade. Around 10% of global trade passes via the Red Sea. If this region is not safe, it's trouble for the world economy. More volatility, more cost, and more expenses for all of us. The second issue is security. We mentioned that the US warship shot down 3 drones. One of them was heading its way. The drone was heading towards the American warship. In other words, the Houthis targeted an American warship. Plus, you have attacks on US bases in Iraq. Dozens of them since Israel's offensive. Dozens of American bases have come under attack in Iraq. So how long before the Americans strike back hard? Or before the Iranians decide to join? I ask because the signs are not good. Even Hezbollah has resumed attacks on Israel. They struck 5 positions along the border. Of course, Israel hit back. At least one Hezbollah fighter has been killed. So where do things go from here? Well, Israel is not slowing down. If anything, they've picked up pace after the truce. They're also looking for evidence that will drum up support for their offensive. The tunnel videos are one example. Meanwhile, the world is losing interest. As always, people are moving on to the next big story, which is why groups like the Houthis are escalating things, trying to keep the focus on Gaza. The only hope is that Israel's allies will put pressure on them, the likes of Joe Biden, Olaf Scholz, and Rishi Sunak. If not, there may not be a Gaza left for a ceasefire.